Well, let me also welcome you here today. If we've not met, my name is David. I serve as a senior pastor here. Whether you're in person or online, I'm grateful for the chance to share with you this morning. If you have your Bible, I want to encourage you to open that to the book of Psalms. Psalm 134 is where we're going to be. You'll see on the screen, if you don't have your Bible with you, the page number in the blue Bible that's in the seat pocket in front of you here in person. If you don't have a Bible, my email address is up there, and we'd love to give you one as a gift from our church. So know that is available to you. But Psalm 134 is where we're going to be over the course of this long, hot summer, which doesn't seem to want to end. Has anyone else noticed that? You may have saw that and go, why are we still in the summer of Psalms? Because we're still in the summer of Psalms. That's why it's still 100 degrees. This morning in our pastor's meeting, I looked down at my phone. I have the weather there on my phone. And do you know what it said? I don't know if you saw this. It said, drizzle. And I got so excited. Drizzle. There's going to be drizzle. It may have already happened. I don't know. But drizzle happened today. Hopefully it's gonna cool down soon. But we have been sharing the Summer of Psalms. We've been looking at a particular set of the book of Psalms. You may remember that the book of Psalms is essentially the song book of ancient Israel. That's the best way to describe what we find here basically in the middle of our Bibles. These are songs sung by Jerusalem, by the ancient Israelites. And this particular group of psalms that we've been looking at over the course of this summer were set aside for a particular purpose. You might think of them as like the songs we sing at Christmas. We don't sing them any other time of the year, but you know when December rolls around, we're going to sing O Come All Ye Faithful, right? That we're going to sing Silent Night. We do it at that particular time. These also were set aside for a particular time, for a particular purpose. Songs that pilgrims would sing as they came to Jerusalem for the celebration of three annual festivals throughout the year. One of those, the festival of Passover. You may remember the last week of Jesus' life. He's in Jerusalem for the festival of Passover. Like many, he would have come as a pilgrim. And all those who came to Jerusalem, they would make that trip from Jericho. That would be the final leg. They may have traveled from all over Israel, but the final leg would begin in Jericho. And then over the course of the last 17 miles, they would ascend 3,400 feet into the holy city. So these are often referred to as the songs of ascent, and it's more than just a metaphorical way of expressing what they are. They're songs that they would sing as they went up. And so we're looking at number 15, the last song. They're supposed to be sung in a particular order. This is the song that was sung when the pilgrims finally arrived in Jerusalem, Psalm 134. And we're going to look first at just the first two verses of Psalm 134. You're actually going to see those on the screen. And what I want to invite you to do is to read these with me. So let's see if we can do this together. Beginning with verse 1, it says, "Come, bless the Lord, all you servants of the Lord who stand by night in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hands to the holy place and bless the Lord." So I haven't climbed very many mountains in my life. In fact, those that I have climbed, some of you probably wouldn't even describe as a mountain. You describe them as a Texas hill maybe. But in climbing those mountains, I have often done, maybe all the time I've done, something you have probably also done, which is getting to the top. You cannot help but want to look back to see where you have come from. Have that sense of accomplishment of, I used to be there, and now I am here. And we could think about that in two ways as we come to the 15th Psalm in the Songs of Ascent. We could think about that as from Jerusalem, looking back at Jericho. Looking back at where that final leg began, 17 miles ago, 3,400 feet ago. We could also think about it at Psalm 134, looking back at Psalm 120. The first of 15 songs that were sung as pilgrims came into Jerusalem. Psalm 120, many weeks ago, we talked about that what it focuses on is the decision one makes when they turn towards Jerusalem. And they begin moving towards the holy city. Now, I've had the chance to be in Israel several times. I have never made the journey on foot, but I have from a comfortable air-conditioned seat in a bus, okay? So I can tell you a little bit about what you find. When you get to Jericho, I was thinking about this week. When you get to Jericho, you come to a T intersection. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can go straight or you can make one turn. So you get to Jericho, and if you go straight, you begin a gentle descent into the area surrounding the Dead Sea, which may not sound that great, Dead Sea, but it's actually beautiful. It's a beautiful place to visit. There's a beach that you can go there. If you swim in the Dead Sea, you actually float on the Dead Sea. It's one of the most surreal experiences of your life. It's a nice little relaxing spot. If you go straight, that's where you end up. If you're not paying attention, that's where you go. The gentle descent into the area surrounding the Dead Sea. You have to make a decision to turn right if you want to go to Jerusalem. And when you get to that intersection and you look to the right, it's not like an optical illusion. You can tell you're going to have to go up into Jerusalem. When you turn right in the bus, all of a sudden you hear it go down to that low gear, because it's got to go up into this. I can't imagine walking the trail. 17 miles would have been an arduous climb. So you have two choices. You can take the gentle descent, or you can begin the arduous climb. Psalm 120 talks about the intentional decision that pilgrims made. I'm not going to go straight. I'm not going to end up at a place where I can just relax. I'm going to begin the climb, and I'm going to go to the city to participate in this particular festival. And here we are, Psalm 134. 120 is the first step. Here we come to the final step, and we're in Jerusalem. And so arriving in Jerusalem, there's a very simple question that we might ask at this particular point, which is, what now? What do you do now? You finish the journey, you're at the top of the mountain, your feet hurt, right? You can feel the exhaustion and weariness in your bones. You're tired, you've made the long journey, you're finally here. What are you supposed to do now? Which may seem like a dumb question, right? The answer may be obvious. Well, you're in Jerusalem, you've come for the festival. It's time, if you haven't brought it with you, you need to go to the market and you need to buy an animal that you can bring for a sacrifice. You got to stand in line. You got to wait. You got to get what you need. You got to take a few more steps into the temple. Yes, there's more steps. You got to keep going up. You bring your sacrifice to the priest. Bam, you're done, right? That's why you go to Jerusalem. You're going to participate in the festival. You're going to offer a sacrifice, and then it's a festival. It's kind of like the state fair. You're going to have a deep-fried Oreo or something, you know? Yeah, what are you supposed to do now? And before you dismiss that question, it's kind of silly and obvious. Here's what I want to invite you to think about. I want you to think about the last time that you arrived at a particular place. You've been moving that direction for a long time. You're finally there. The last time that you finished a significant project, you may have given months of your time, perhaps even years, and it's finally done. You can put it behind you. It's a significant project. All of this work, you can say, I accomplished it. I've been successful. Maybe for you it's this. You ordered something from somewhere that wasn't Amazon. It didn't have next day delivery, and you had to wait for it to come through the regular mail, which is so slow. The long-awaited package finally arrived, or you had what for you was a deeply meaningful goal that you were striving towards, a personal goal, and it finally arrived. And maybe, just maybe, in some of those instances in your life, when you finished a project, when the package was delivered, when you came to a particular place, when you achieved that meaningful goal, instead of an outburst of joy and enthusiasm, you didn't feel anything at all. In fact, if you were to put any language to what you felt, you would say, it felt kind of empty. I sort of felt a little bit unfulfilled. There was, at the end of that, there really wasn't much at all. You may have even found yourself thinking, why did I think that was so important? Why did I give so much of my time and my energy and my effort to whatever it might be? You climbed a mountain, whatever it was, and you got to the top. And you thought, well, now what? I just got to walk down. I walked all the way up here. What do I do? Why did I do this? It's only in hindsight that you look and you see what I gained. It really wasn't worth what I had to give. Jesus says it this way. It's sort of the moment when you realize, I've gained the whole world. But in a moment of reflection, you're faced with this really uncomfortable reality of, but I might have lost my own soul. I might have lost a relationship that really matters in my life. I may have ruined my marriage. I may have missed this opportunity that I had with my kids. I may have thrown away time that was really valuable to me for something that it just doesn't mean anything. Now that I've gotten to the mountaintop, now that I'm in this place that I've been striving to be at for so long, I'm here, and I don't feel what I thought I would feel. Some of you know the name Chuck Colson. Chuck Colson served as White House counsel in the first term of President Nixon's presidency. He had a leading role in a variety of different ways in his re-election campaign in 1972. In that year, he boasted to his colleagues that he would, quote, walk over my own grandmother to get Nixon re-elected. If you know the whole story, there's more humor in that than you may have heard. So despite the growing clouds surrounding the Watergate break-in, which took place in June of 1972, Nixon went on to win the election that fall. He received 61% of the popular vote and a whopping 521 electoral votes to his opponent George McGovern's 17. And in his book, Born Again, which Colson wrote after many years after his time of public service, as well as his time that he spent in prison because of his public service, after his transformation in that experience, this is how he described that celebration on Election Day. He said, that night should have been the proudest moment of my life. But he added, unlike any celebration I had attended in 20 years in politics, there was no air of triumph here. The faces were unsmiling. There was scarcely a ripple of excitement. That night at the victory party, he witnessed and heard expressions of petty jealousness among the staff. Congressmen complaining that they didn't get a mention in Nixon's victory speech. Individuals clamoring for jobs in the new administration. Eventually, Colson was summoned to Nixon's private study. And the first person he encountered there was his chief of staff, H.R. Haldeman, who was on the phone berating staff because they weren't getting the vote tallies from the states to him fast enough. And finally, he encountered Nixon, who was all alone in the aftermath of one of the most historic victories in American politics. And this is what he wrote about that experience. He said, Nixon was drinking scotch and expressing his bitterness to all those who a decade earlier had said that his political career was over. Instead of experiencing the outburst of joy and enthusiasm that he expected, the overwhelming sense of accomplishment that he assumed he would feel, Colson said this, my insides were as deadened as the air in the room. You get to the mountain. You've been pursuing it for so long. And at the end of it, you think, what in the world did I do that for? What I have gained isn't anything compared to what I had to give. So we're here in Jerusalem. Feet are tired. We feel a little bit weird. We feel it in our bones. Why are we here? Why are we here? For 17 miles, moms and dads had heard their children ask them, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Here they finally get to say, yes, we're here, which of course for kids only led to another question. Why are we here? Why are we here? It's an important question for those ancient Israelites, and it's an important question for us today. Why are you here? This morning you woke up. You all did, I can tell. You woke up. you got out of bed. Those who are here in person, you went through some sort of process, whatever it might be for you in your life, to get ready to be here. Brushed your teeth, hopefully. I'm assuming you did that. Some of you took showers last night, some this morning. You had some clothes picked out that you were going to wear. You got in your car. You made the trip here. You didn't just randomly show up here, okay? You didn't get in your car, I'm going to go get donuts, and find yourself here, okay? You made the decision to be here. If you're watching online, you opened your laptop, you turned on the TV. If you're watching this at a different time, maybe you're looking at it on your phone. When you opened your laptop, turned on the TV, this didn't automatically pop up. Okay, we don't have that technology. I don't know if we ever will, but that didn't happen. You made a decision. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna take time out of my day, this particular day, to be here, to be present, to be a part of this. And I just want to invite you to consider, why? Why are you here? What is it that has brought you to this place? What is it about this time here that you thought, well, this is valuable for me. I'm going to take time to be here. You could have slept in today. You could have done a whole lot of, maybe you have some things you have to do around the house. Maybe you're here because you don't want to do those things from around the house. But for some reason, you're here. On the way here, things may have gone really well. Maybe they didn't. Maybe somebody cut you off, and you're still mad about that. Maybe you said something this morning that you're going to have to apologize for this afternoon. Maybe you find yourself here thinking, I just gave all the energy to get the kids in the car and to arrive. All of this stuff that happened. Why are you here? And you might say, well, this is just what I do. On Sunday, this is what I do. I get up, I go to church, this is what I do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Commitment's a wonderful thing. Dedication is a wonderful thing. Living with a particular rhythm in your life, that's a wonderful thing. You may think, well, I'm here because I wanted to see my friends. I have relationships here, and I wanted to see them. I wanted to have a chance to connect with them, which is a wonderful thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. If you're brand new here, you probably made some intentional decisions this morning. Maybe you watched online to make sure the people here weren't crazy, and you decided to come and be a part of worship. You made an intentional decision because you want to check things out. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. Maybe you came because you thought, I think the music's going to be good today. I think it's going to be good. And guess what? It was good. It's always good. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's a blessing, right? I love it. I think you do too. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. Maybe there's a handful of you who thought, you know what? Maybe there will be something interesting in the sermon. Maybe you're still waiting for that. I don't know. Why are you here? What is it that has brought you to this place? Maybe it's, I need some inspiration. I got to plug in. I am empty, and I got to make it through the next week. And so I've come to sing, to see my friends, whatever it might be, maybe get some inspiration in the message, because I got to top off the tank. I got to fill it up. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. Maybe, I promised them I'd give them this mention because I thought it was funny. Maybe you're here because it's the first weekend of the month, and if you're a regular, you knew breakfast tacos today. That's why you're here. You got a breakfast taco, which is a wonderful thing. Money from that goes to missions here in our local community and orphan communities around the world. These are all good things. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But none of them are why we are here. None of them are why we are here. If you had received an invitation to worship today, it would have read, "Come, bless the Lord." The reason that we gather here is not to be filled. The reason that we gather here is to be emptied. That's why we have come to this place. In the modern church, perhaps we have lost that. We have perhaps lost the sense that we come to worship to bless the Lord. We come to worship because we have been blessed, and we, out of our awareness of that, desire to return the blessing. We don't come here just for our own enjoyment or to be filled up, to be topped off. Nothing wrong with those things. We hope those happen, but that's not why we're here. We are here to bless the Lord. You might be tired today. You may find yourself today going, you know what? I'm not in a blessing mood. But the invitation, what draws us to this place is come and bless the Lord. Yesterday may have not been a good day for you. You may be an alumni of one of the Christian schools in our state, in Fort Worth or Waco. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a great day for you yesterday. Come, bless the Lord when you feel like it and when you don't. When your heart is bursting and you cannot wait to be here, and when you just find yourself crawling in, come bless the Lord who has blessed you. We come to return the blessing. Verse 2, it says this, lift up your hands. I loved what Pastor Julian said last night. He pointed out that it's not holding our hands out, it's lifting our hands up. It's a posture of surrender. It's a way of saying, I'm willing to be empty. I'm willing to be poured out. And the emptiness of that, it's not the emptiness of false ambition. It's not that sense of emptiness of the fulfillment of a personal desire that at the end of it we realize, well, that wasn't worth anything at all. It's the abundance that comes from a life of humble service before a holy God. This is the call. This is what we do when we reach the mountain. This is when we arrive in Jerusalem. This is why we are here. Come, bless the Lord, all you servants of the Lord who stand by night in the house of the Lord. Come here and bless the Lord. Which brings us to the final verse. There's only 3. Here's the final verse. It's a prayer that we pray, and it's what we trust will happen when we come in the appropriate posture to bless the Lord. May the Lord bless you from Zion, he who made heaven and earth. So today, we are going to come to this table to receive what we call Holy Communion, a remembrance of the last night that Jesus shared with his disciples, a remembrance that in the midst of that meal, he took bread and he broke it, he gave it to them. He said, this is my body broken for you. As often as you eat of it, Jesus said, remember me. We remember the cup he raised. He said, this is the cup of the new covenant, my blood poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. As often as you drink of this, Jesus said, remember me. These are elements that represent what God has given to you. They represent God's blessing in all seasons of your life. But today, I want you to think about this as you come to this table. By coming here to receive this gift, you in that act are blessing the Lord. The Lord delights in you coming to receive this gift. So come with a heart that is in a posture of hands up, surrender. Lord, I want to be emptied before you so that I can experience the fullness of life that is in you. Because I don't want to keep climbing mountains that at the end of it I find myself just feeling empty, unfulfilled, unsatisfied, like it's a waste. I want to climb those mountains where at the end there is within me a heart that says, I want to bless the Lord. The Lord who has blessed me, I want to return blessing.